Hello YouTube, what is going on? I'm Rocket and this is part 1 of my Resolute HackTheBox walkthrough. So let's get right to it. So first what I like to do is I like to run an nmap scan, so sudo nmap -p- to enumerate all TCP ports, -OA to output all formats, and we'll call it nmap TCP, and the host is resolute.htb. I've already ran this command, and the output looks like this. p.nmap. And we'll find out that this looks like a Windows server because immediately we can see some NetBIOS, SSN, and LDAP, and even Kerberos on port 88. And interestingly enough, even a DNS service. So from here, what I like to do is take all the ports that I've enumerated and then probe them for our service version and run all default scripts against them. So I'll just copy all this. I like to spin up Vim so I can quickly format it. QD record a macro so I can repeat this action for every line, repeat it 100 times, and then replace every carriage return with a comma. Oops. Or every new line with a comma. There we go. Then we copy all this and exit out of Vim, and then we're gonna run another nmap scan, sudo nmap -p, and then paste all the ports. -sc to run default scripts, sv to enumerate all versions, OA again to output all formats, but this time we'll call it TCP full version. And the host is Resolute. I've also already ran this command because it can also take a bit. And we can see that we have a lot of details here. So where to start? So in a Windows environment, I always like to start out looking at the SMB NetBIOS services because those can usually be, if they're out of date, they're easy one-punch KO to getting root on the box. So let's take a look at that. Let's take a look at port 445. It does look like this box is running a modern version of Windows Server 2016 standard. So I doubt most of the CVEs for SMB will work on this host, but it's worth giving a try. So let's run nmap again, and this time instead of getting the operating system version, we're going to check for SMB vulnerabilities. So what I'm going to do is also run an nmap scan, so sudo nmap -p, and we'll say 445 and 139, and we'll put a script. And we'll say that script is SMB vuln, run all the SMB vuln scripts, and we're going to pass script args script args unsafe equals 1. The reason why I'm doing this is it's a HackTheBox machine and it can be reverted at any time, but be aware that sometimes running these scripts can impact system stability, so do be mindful of that. I'll pass the -d argument to show debug output in case the script failed. I'm also going to output all formats, and I'll call it nmap SMB vuln. And the host, resolute.htb. I've also already ran this, so the output looks like this. SMB vuln.nmap. And we can see, well, looks like I also enumerated port 135. But we didn't have any success. So you can go ahead and use Metasploit to keep poking further, but for the sake of this video, I'm not going to go do that. Alright, so next thing I like to check is for null sessions on these ports. And one of my favorite tools to null authenticate to SMB is SMB client. So we can run SMB client -l to list shares. And the host is resolute.htb. Put no password, and SMB1 is disabled, no work group available. So it looks like it does allow anonymous login. We can also probe for further information by running crackmap exec. But at this point, I don't think crackmap exec will find much other than fingerprinting the operating system version, which nmap has already done for us. So let's try null authenticating to NetBIOS. And to do that, I like to run RPC client, pass the -u flag, and don't provide anything as the user. And the host is resolute.hdb. No password, and it looks like we have a session. So from here you can get an idea for some of the things you can do with NetBIOS. And one of the things that I like to do first is run servinfo to get more information about the server. So let's run that. And we have access denied. So it looks like there are access controls on that. Let's try enumerating all net shares. So net share enum all. Access is also denied. Okay. Well, all right. Well, let's just quit out of this for now. Let's go back to our nmap scan, see what else we can go enumerate. And it looks like, yeah, let's check LDAP. Because sometimes you can find LDAPs that are insecured. So by that I mean there are no access controls on them. So let's check that out. So to do this, I like to use a tool called LDAP search. So I can go LDAP search, pass H to specify the host, resolute.hdb. And it looks like by default, LDAP search prompts you to enter a password, which we have none right now. We're not able to enumerate any. So we'll just try again, doing anonymous authentication, and we can do that by just passing the X flag. And we get a different result, so this looks more promising. So when you run LDAP search, you can think of Active Directory as a connection of nodes that are related to each other. Think of it as a graph of entities, and they're all sort of like connected. But there's always an entry point. And by default, in our example here, we start from an entry point and we got nowhere. So again, because we did run the default scripts with nmap against LDAP, we can go check that again, and we might be able to find an entry point from where we can start enumerating the Active Directory graph. So in this case, there is a domain. Domains are always a good place to start when enumerating LDAP. And the domain is megabank.local. So let's try starting from there. I'm gonna keep this up just in case. So LDAP search xh resolute.hdb. And to do this, you specify the -b flag, which is your base entry point. And instead of saying megabank.local, you have to specify DC. So instead of saying megabank.local, we'll say DC equals megabank and DC equals local. And this, like if we've seen here before, so yeah, this will start from the very top and then enumerate everything recursively starting from megabank.local. We're going to find that there is an awful lot of information here. So if I keep scrolling up, there's so much content that it doesn't fit in my tmux buffer. So because this is so huge, sure, we could, there are certain means that we can use to search through this pile of information. And the most efficient way to do that is with LDAP filters. An LDAP filter, you can think of it as a way, kind of like a database query. It's a way to ask what you want and get back results that satisfy the conditions that you've asked for. If we look at the last result here, I see a name, Naoki, and to me that's a person. And we can see that this entity, Naoki, is a person. And they also have a SAM account name, Naoki. So this looks like a potential user that we could use to log in. So let's find all people, and you can find people by a SAM account number. In this case, we will find a pattern. So notice that the SAM account type for Naoki is this number here. It is also the same for Simon. It is also the same for Zach. So we can construct an LDAP query to get all Active Directory entities that match this account type. So to do that, you can just say SAM account type. So search everything starting from megabank.local as your entry point and get all people accounts. Let's try that. Let's throw it through less. Cool. So here we have a lot less content. We do have a guest, default account. We have someone named Ryan and a lot more people here. So now that we kind of understand the basics about querying, let's try thinking misconfigurations here. Usually when you have a service that is open, you want to look for passwords that have been left behind in plain text, either by systems that end up creating accounts and then people don't change their passwords. That's a possibility, or people just leaving secrets or credentials around. Interestingly enough, in Active Directory, there are two LDAP attributes that you can query, where people can put just personal comments, and those are the comments and the description attributes. So let's search for let's see if comment is secret or description equals secret. So notice here, this syntax is a bit more complicated. What I'm just saying is I'm taking the pipe, which is the OR operation for LDAP filters. And I'm saying, hey, give me anything that has the word secret in the comment attribute or has the word secret in the description attribute. So let's do that. We get nothing. So maybe instead of secret, let's try something like credential or cred. Cred. Still nothing. All right, let's try password. And we get hit. Well, more hits actually. So let's see if we can't find any information let's see if we can't find any passwords or information that will cue us to getting closer to any credentials. I don't see anything here. We'll go down a bit. Maybe let's search for com description. So members of this group cannot have their passwords replicated to a read-only domain. Controllers in the domain. And this actually looks promising. So interestingly, there's one guy whose name is Marco. And description, account created. Password set to welcome123. So I'm going to take note of this and try to log in as Marco Novak somewhere in some form or another. So let's make a directory called loot. Go to loot. We'll just call it creds.txt. We'll just call this Marco and use that. And actually, before we go further, it's also a good idea to capture the context around the password. So here the description is account created. The password was set to welcome123. So let me take this as well. Let's edit the creds. maybe we'll just call this AD description attribute. Cool. So now that we have this credential, we need to find a service that we can use to use it with. So let's go back to our nmap scan up here. And some services that we might want to use are SMB, RPC, but more interestingly enough, the port 5985 is the Windows remoting service, which basically means, hey, you can just get remote code execution because you basically just have a remote PowerShell session if you get in there. So let's go for the gold first. Let's go for this. And one of the tools that I like to use is evil WinRM. Tools, evil WinRM. And just for reference, you can go download this tool off GitHub. I'll show you right here. Let's go evil WinRM GitHub. And yeah, you can just go clone it here. Like clone. Easy enough. Amazing. So let's try evil WinRM. We're going to specify the interface, or sorry, the IP to connect to. So in this case, it's resolute.htb. And then specify the password. The password was welcome123. And the user is Marco. So we try to connect. That we have failed to authenticate. So, oh no, what happens? Is all hope lost? Well, you'll have to find out in the next video. See you there.